Oh boy. Alrighty guys, today I'm going to teach you how to install FPV system on the 3DR Solo for flying acro. I just want to show you how easy it is. What I've done here is kind of rigged it up. I have a bunch of race drones on my shelf up there that I've kind of parted out through crashes and other things to make this possible, but we're just going to go over the basics here and tell you how to install this and what to look for and how to make your life a lot easier, okay? So, if you're going to be installing a FPV system on the Solo to fly full acro, which is what a lot of pilots would like to do with this, what you're going to need to do is you'll take your gimbal wire, which obviously if you remove the gimbal off of the Solo here, or your standard GoPro holder mount, you will have this set of wires here. I have isolated the black and red wire here, if you guys can see the black and the red. Put a screwdriver in between them. You will need to tap into this wire as a power source. Okay, it's the easiest access point to get power. So most of your VTXs, which is what this is a VTX. It's 200 milliwatts, and it supplies its main power would be 7 to 24 volts, which, as we know, this black and red wire are supplying more than 7 volts, so you're good to go. It actually takes a considerable amount of power to run the gimbal. But your VTX and your camera can handle all the way up. The VTX can handle up to 24 volts, and most of your FPV cameras can handle 40 volts or better, so it's fine. You can tap into these without having to worry about burning things out inside your Solo or burning out other electrical components. So what you would do is just take a little bit off each wire until you have access to the wire underneath. Then you're going to order this is actually a female. I know it looks like a male because it plugs in to what you would consider a female, but this is actually a male JST plug. You can find these on eBay. They're pretty cheap. You can get a pack of 10 for like $4. You're really only going to need one of them, honestly, so if you just order one male JST, you're good to go. You would end up doing red to red and black to black right here, okay, and connecting those, and then obviously you would solder these into place, and then you would cover your wires. Now, what's nice about this is that if you do this, this can run a multitude of different things if you decided to start third-partying your Solo out. So I actually have a gimbal mod to show you guys how to install a third-party gimbal instead of using the stock OEM gimbal. I have a third-party gimbal mod on my channel. If you install this will actually allow you to power the third-party gimbal automatically out of the box. All you have to do is take your gimbal and attach it to this, and then screw that into the bottom and stick your HDMI port through, and then you need to run one signal wire. Regardless, I have a whole video for that. If you guys are curious, just ask. I'll post it below, whatever, in the comment section so you guys can see how to install a third-party gimbal. But the point is, this will be a multi-function plug for you in the future. So if you attach it to here and here, you're good to go, and that will then power your FPV system. Okay, now this is home rigged. This is just one that I put together real quick so that I could do this and see how the Solo actually handled FPV flying in acro. So I'm actually going to put a link below this of a very, very, very simple installation that you guys can do yourself. My suggestion is mount the camera on the outside. Don't worry, your camera won't look anything like this. Yours will come with a tray holster and screws, so you can actually screw the holster into place and then adjust your camera as you want to. So you can leave it on the Solo. Then I would drill a hole right here so you can put your connectors and wires through it. That way it's inside. The whole front of the Solo here inside this tray is empty, so you have tons of room to work with in the front of this. The side is also empty over here, so you can screw a hole. My suggestion is mount your VTX on the outside just like this, because it will get constant wind, not only from the props to keep cooling the VTX, but the outside air. If you were to install this inside of the Solo, it would overheat. It would not stay cool enough while flying to not overheat and burn out. So ideally you want to put your VTX on the outside of the Solo. I put mine on with Velcro so I can remove it if I want to. It's very simple. I made it so that I can just undo the plug and that's it. It comes right off. Same thing with this. You could just undo the plug and leave the wires in there, and then it's not powering the system. So whenever you don't want to use the system, you don't have to have it powered up. You can just unplug it inside of here. Okay, either way, you're going to have this on there while you're flying, because your GoPro Hero 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever GoPro you decide to run on it, I would say 7, 8, or 9, because the stabilization is fantastic. It'll make it look like you have a gimbal when you don't. That's obviously the idea. You want super clean footage. So this thing judders around and moves a lot, so the stabilization definitely helps with a clean flight. So basically, this is going to be on there. You'll be able to hide the wires just by drilling a hole here, putting your wires inside, drilling a hole here, putting your wires inside. You can leave your camera mounted. It doesn't need to go anywhere. It doesn't affect anything on the front of the Solo. Now the other second reason why you wouldn't want to install the VTX inside of the Solo is because if you look down there, that's your GPS board. You don't want that 5.8 high band signal to be anywhere near this GPS inside there. The more obstructions in between here and there, the better. Now this is only 200 milliwatts, and I can easily get 4,000 feet of video feed to my goggles with this. The reason you don't want to fly acro with the Wi-Fi on your phone or using your phone inside of a pair of goggles through Wi-Fi is because the latency lag. You would crash well before you see it. With the Wi-Fi going, when you start flying anywhere over 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, there's so much latency lag between what you see. With 5.8 analog signal, you instantly see what is happening when you do it. So the controllability of the quad is 2.4, which is perfect. That's your average signal runs 2.4 for RC, so you instantly, basically, there's very, very, very small amount of latency lag between control and you, not even noticeable, honestly. The idea is to get the video feed to be on power with the controllability. So you want both of them to instantly show you what's happening. So if I go left on my controller, I instantly want to see my quad go left, and it does that very well. So I hope this was a pretty solid explanation. I will post a link of the FPV system I suggest for you guys. It's pretty self-explanatory of how to put it on and how to install it, hopefully by what I've done here. Obviously, mine's going to be slightly different than yours. Yours is a quick connect system that I'll be offering you, so it really simplifies the process. You would just mount it right here, and that's it. Then it has an adjustable camera. I glued this camera into place. The one that I'm suggesting you purchase is adjustable, and it also has 800 milliwatts, so you should be able to go a mile or more easily with that setup. And this is only 200 milliwatts, and as you can see during my flight, I was getting some pretty killer range. So this is coming up on 10 minutes. I hope this was a solid explanation for you guys. It really kind of helps you along. We're going to keep testing this. Next, I'm going to be running the tri-props on this, and I am going to get into Mission Planner, and we're going to tune this with some proper rates so that it's much more aggressive in the sky and handles the air management a lot better. So Solo has potential to go past 70 miles an hour, no problem, flying an acro, so we're going to get it to that stage if we can, and hopefully we can take good, solid footage while we do it. Alright guys, I just want to remind you guys that you still have to purchase something to be able to view the FPV on the analog signal, so you would still need a pretty decent pair of goggles. These are roughly $375 to $400. They're Fat Shark Dominator V3s, and then you still have to purchase the module, or you can go cheap. You could choose Eachine 800s, or just a cheap pair of FPV goggles. But if you want really good results, I mean, we're talking about a pretty large bird here that's kind of dangerous to be in the air, so I would suggest a fairly decent pair of goggles or a decent monitor to actually get good feed on, so that you're not taking chances or potentially endangering someone's personal property or yourself or something along those lines. And also, please, please, please practice acro in a simulator before you ever make the attempt to do this on a Solo. It is very advanced, very dangerous type of flying, especially with a bird this size. Please learn properly. Put in some stick time on a simulator and acro before you give this a shot, okay? But yes, you still have to make extra purchases. To view that video feed and analog signal, you need a pair of goggles or a monitor. So you would be looking for FPV 5.8 goggles or monitor to be able to view that. Alright guys.